Good evening and welcome. Tonight, we examine a dangerous idea quietly gaining ground in global politics, an idea that could reshape the world order and place every nation at risk. The claim is simple but explosive, that a powerful state may use military force across borders if it believes a foreign leader is criminally charged, politically illegitimate, or morally unfit to govern. If that idea becomes normal, the consequences will not stop in one country. They will echo across the world, from Eastern Europe to the Indo-Pacific. At stake is not the reputation of any one government. What is at stake is the legal framework that prevents the world from descending into permanent instability. There is one rule that stands between global order and chaos. States may not use force to settle political disputes. That rule sits at the very heart of the United Nations Charter, written after two devastating world wars to ensure that power does not decide who governs whom. If a powerful state can seize a foreign president by force, then sovereignty becomes conditional, and conditional sovereignty is no sovereignty at all. Recent reports suggesting that the United States used force inside Venezuela to seize a sitting president have triggered alarm among international law experts. These actions were defended using three arguments: criminal charges, disputed elections, and the language of law enforcement. But under international law, none of these arguments work. These are not technical legal debates. They are red lines. Domestic criminal indictments do not extend beyond national borders. Disputed elections do not suspend a country's sovereignty. And frustration with a foreign leader does not create legal permission to use force. If the world treats this moment as normal, the damage will not stop in Caracas. It will reach Kiev, and it will reach Taipei. The law on the use of force is strict by design. The United Nations Charter allows only two exceptions. First, explicit authorization by the UN Security Council. Second, self-defense in response to an armed attack. That is the entire list. There are no hidden clauses. There is no exception for criminal allegations. There is no exception for disputed elections. There is no exception for leaders labeled corrupt, authoritarian, or unpopular. When force is used outside these limits, it violates the Charter, even if the military action is limited, targeted, or described as necessary. Supporters of cross-border intervention argue that a leader who loses legitimacy forfeits protection. But international law does not work that way. International law protects states, not the moral standing of their governments. Recognition affects diplomacy, embassies, and treaties. It does not authorize invasion, abduction, or military seizure. There is no doctrine of democracy enforcement in the UN system. That idea was deliberately rejected after 1945 because it would invite permanent intervention by strong states against weaker ones. If electoral legitimacy justified force, then sovereignty would only belong to governments approved by the powerful. A second legal barrier is also broken when leaders are seized by force. Even where serious criminal allegations exist, a sitting head of state enjoys immunity from foreign criminal jurisdiction while in office. This principle has been confirmed repeatedly by international courts. More importantly, even international criminal law rejects unilateral enforcement. Accountability depends on courts, warrants, cooperation, and consent, not soldiers crossing borders. Even the gravest crimes are prosecuted through institutions, not invasions. If allegations of drug trafficking or election fraud justified military seizure, then no leader anywhere would be safe. But the most dangerous development is not only the use of force itself, it is the rebranding of war as law enforcement. Policing operates within a shared legal system. Armies do not. When military force is used to enforce domestic law abroad, sovereignty becomes conditional on who has the power to indict. This is how norms collapse, not by rewriting the law, but by eroding its authority. This logic does not remain isolated. Russia already claims Ukraine's leadership is illegal and criminal. If criminality and illegitimacy are accepted as gateways to coercion, resistance weakens. Allies hesitate. Neutral states step back. Enforcement fractures. This is why Ukraine and Taiwan face the highest risk. Nothing in this analysis legalizes aggression. Russia's invasion of Ukraine remains a clear violation of international law. Any attempt to seize Ukraine's president would deepen that illegality. But international law is enforced by unity, not words alone. Selective enforcement today becomes strategic vulnerability tomorrow. Ukraine depends on global unity to resist conquest. Taiwan depends on consistent norms to deter coercion. When leading states bend the rules, they weaken their own ability to rally others. Sanctions lose power, deterrence becomes more expensive, and the burden shifts to those already under threat. So what must the global response be? First, the law must be stated clearly and without euphemism. Force is unlawful without UN authorization or self-defense. Criminal charges and legitimacy claims do not justify military action. Second, multilateral institutions must be used even when politics blocks outcomes. Security Council paralysis is not permission. The General Assembly exists to reaffirm the law when power intervenes. Third, justice must be separated from war. If leaders face credible allegations, the lawful paths are courts, extradition, and international tribunals, not soldiers. Fourth, states must avoid complicity. Military and intelligence cooperation that supports unlawful force must be reviewed. Principles matter only when conduct follows them. This moment presents a simple choice. International law does not fail because it is violated once. It fails when its authority is eroded through selective enforcement. If kidnapping presidents becomes acceptable when done by the powerful, then sovereignty becomes meaningless. And when sovereignty becomes meaningless, no country, large or small, is safe. The world must choose rules, or the hollowing out of the rules-based international order.